it that far. You sure you don't want to turn it a little bit so it shows a little bit more music? I'm like chopped off practically.
Turn it, man. You act like you don't know what to do, man.
I had it, then you turned it back, so I was like, what the fuck's going on?
I had to see it.
Alright.
You little turd. Now you can't even see me, dog.
Yeah, I see you.
It's all about me, dog.
Nah, dog.
What's going on? It's your boy, Mike Flamez. I put a nice shirt on because I got a nice guy. His name is Whitey. And this is the Mike Flamez Show. Period. Sweet. How you feeling, buddy? How you doing, buddy?
I'm feeling, you know. Good to see you.
Good
Successful merger, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I told you that I wanted to do an interview with you. Man. And you said nobody wanted to hear it.
Nobody wants to hear anything from this guy,
and then
man.
you were wrong.
Man.
You were wrong. You found out you were wrong.
I couldn't believe it. That shit had like 150 likes or something ridiculous, man.
And I was like, damn, now people are just lying now.
I guess. Shoot.
Damn, they even lied for you.
I know.
Oh,
so
man.
Here I am in the flesh.
So this guy right here, I've known him for what? How long do you think now? About 10, 11 years or so?
At least a decade, yeah.
Been putting up with his shit. He's been putting up with mine for quite some time. He's did a bunch of music videos for me. He did work on the Battle League that I was pushing for a while called Buckeye Battle League. And a lot of ins and outs through the years, just different projects. He's a cameraman, and I wanted to get his background because he's even though I know you would like to be more successful, very successful person than I know personally. So that's why I'm having it on the show. And I'm going to pretend like I don't know a lot of this shit already so you guys can hear about it. So, how old were you when you decided that you wanted to pick up a camera? When was the first time you picked up a camera?
Well, growing up, my dad, you know, he always had one of those old school VHS cameras, like big ass camera he'd put on his shoulder, kind of take on all the family vacations and everything. So kind of from that point, you know, I felt like the camera was something that'd be interesting to get into, kind of check out and everything. But it wasn't really something I took serious until probably, let's say, my sophomore or junior year. I had some friends that were kind of making some fun little YouTube skits and stuff, and I kind of helped them out with some of those, and then it really kind of dawned on me like this could maybe be something that I'd want to explore a career in.
So what? How old were you when you bought your first camera?
When I bought my first camera, I want to say, like I said, it was probably my junior, senior year, probably like 17, 18. So, well, I'd say that would probably be like my first professional series one. Before that, I had like one of those little like Canon point and shoots I got when I was probably like 12 or 13 that I take to like concerts and stuff and just like film a lot of concert videos and stuff.
So at what point in time, because obviously it started as a fun thing.
Yeah.
At what point in time, because you said already that, you know, this could be really something, but when did it occur to you that like, this was what you're going to do with your life? Like, it's not just something you're doing for fun. You're actually going to pursue a career behind the camera.
Yeah, I mean, shortly after high school, I went to University of Toledo. I was in computer network administration program there, and I did computer networking and stuff all through high school. So I kind of was just getting bored with computers and all that in general. You know, I got to college, and it was like a review of stuff that I already knew. So I just felt like I wanted something new, something exciting, something that could be challenging. And that's when I really kind of shift my focus onto, you know, the camera field. So yeah, I went to UT. I actually flunked a math class there. It was like one of the only classes I ever failed in my life because the professor.
Shame on you.
The professor there, you could barely even understand a word what he would speak. Like he spoke very little English, so it was like a trigonometry class or something, which is normally not really a very hard subject. But I literally could not understand what the guy was even saying, so I failed the course. And like I tried to go to a tutor at the University of Toledo, and the tutor was like, "This information is literally so long ago when I learned it, I don't even know how to do the stuff." So I was like, "Oh, thanks, tutor. Appreciate that." So.
That's awesome.
So I was all kind of burnt out, you know. I took a year or two off from school, started working at Best Buy. I remember you'd come in a couple times, see me at the Geek Squad, you know, represent.
Fucking turd.
And it was really at that point the tide kind of turned. Me and my buddies were still making the YouTube
And make
skits.
sure you're looking at the camera, too. Don't forget about the
My bad. It's hard. Like, it's hard to speak and look. So the tide kind of turned. Me and my buddies are still making the YouTube skits and stuff, and it really did finally feel like something I could make a career out of, something I wanted to explore more. So me and a guy who shall not be named went to a school up in Michigan called Specs Howard School of Digital Media Arts. And
I know that guy, don't I?
Yeah, I think you know that guy. We won't talk about him. Okay. But anyway. Yeah, we did the Specs Howard School Digital Media Program. It's just a one-year program, kind of gave you a overview of everything you needed to know, whether it was photography, video, web development, graphic design, all that. And I really gelled with the video aspect. And that's when things really kind of started taking off for me. I feel like coming out of that program, I had a really strong understanding what I wanted to do with everything. Started working with you on some of your videos. I'd say I think you were one of the first artists I really kind of worked with in the area on like music videos and stuff. So really from an early beginning, you know, you always put a lot of faith in me and a lot of heart in me to bring your visions to life. And, you know, I appreciate that and I respect that. So
yeah, man. Well, I've seen that you wanted to, you were serious about it, but you probably didn't have, you know, a serious client who kept wanting your services or what you could provide. So, you know, I went with you because I knew, not just obviously because, you know, you were good at what you do, but I knew that you were learning stuff as you went along, making the music videos, editing battles and certain things.
Right.
I could see your development getting better and better, and then you got more work that way. I mean, I realized rappers are not the most fun people for you to work with.
Yeah, you know.
All the time, because some of them are not.
I met some good people through the rap scene, Toledo. You know, we got Bones the Lion, Philippe, Prophecy, Rain Wilder, all my homies there. Everyone else I forgot. I'm sure everyone's gonna be like, "Why didn't you name drop me? What the hell?"
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool and everything. And like you were saying, you know, kind of taking, learning something with each project. Like I still feel like that's the same way today now. You know, I mean, I've been in the video game now for, you know, well over 10 years. And I still say every project I do, I always kind of learn something, can, you know, find something that I can either improve upon or something I didn't really know before. It's always a constant learning and constant adapting field. So
you went to college for all this. After all that,
yep.
You left me hanging to go like have a better life. It was fucking stupid. I don't know why you'd want to do that.
Right.
No, but so you ended up going to Full Sail.
Yeah.
What was that whole experience like?
Man, Full Sail is freaking awesome, man. Like I knew about Full Sail back in like my senior year. I think they actually had someone come to Whitmer where I went, and they actually were talking about the school and whatnot, and they actually have a really good recording arts program, video game development program, but I wasn't really too hip to like their film program per se. But after that school I went to in Michigan, I looked into their film program a little bit more and was like, hey, you know, that actually looks pretty sweet, something I'd be interested in getting into. And it was a really expensive program. I mean, just for 2 years, a 2-year program, but you get a 4-year bachelor's degree. It was going to end up being like over $80,000. I'm just like, shit, $80,000 for 2 years? Like, that's ridiculous. So my mom unknowingly was kind of talking to an admission rep there. I didn't even know she was talking to somebody there. And just one day she like hit me up on the phone. She's just like, hey, I've been talking to this admission rep at this Full Sail school. I remember you talking to me about like forever ago. And she thinks you could qualify for a lot of scholarships and a lot of other financial aid. And we think we can make it happen if you're interested, you know, put in an application. So I put in the application. We actually flew down there. I think it was like a spring break or something. And we got to tour the school. And just instantly I knew that was somewhere I really wanted to be, somewhere I wanted to check out. So I did like 5 different scholarship applications. Most of them were just like writing these short little essays about like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Or, you know, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So it wasn't anything too serious, but I was like, all right, I'll give it my best shot. And when it was all said and done, I got like $35,000 in scholarships. So that helped out tremendously to make it all work. So
yeah, so you have something in common with Kevin Durant.
Yep, Kevin Durant, that man.
Do you know what that is?
He's a basketball player.
His mom is the real MVP.
MVP.
So your mom was
my
the
mom.
MVP.
Yeah, without my mom, I mean, I'd be a lost soul for sure. So
that's awesome.
She's always been
Shout out to moms.
She's always been my day one. Oh shit! Yeah, there we
fired.
go. She's always been my day one and has always believed in me and everything. And I'm definitely a mama's boy. I got no shame to admit that. So
nothing wrong with that, man.
But yeah, so I literally just kind of on a drop of a dime packed up everything, moved down to Orlando. Well, Winter Park, just outside Orlando.
Real quick, He's not joking. It was a drop of a dime because there was shit that we had lined up and got canceled. And I remember I fucking was so mad, but I was so happy at the same time. So I was like, I'm glad he's fucking pursuing this shit, but fuck, what am I going to do now?
Right.
And got real hard on my end for a little while on the camera, but seeing everything you were doing, man, it was like, good, man. I'm glad you fucking went out there and did all that. Because, I mean, so what was the actual school like for like, because I know people have always heard Full Sail,
right?
But like, what type of because everyone, obviously, because it's expensive, everyone takes it very serious? Or?
Well, some people take it serious, some people not so much. Like, I feel like some of them, just have rich mommies and daddies, and they're just like, oh, this is what I want my kid to do, so I'm just going to ship you off and have fun, So I'd say, actually probably about half of my class, I'd say, really didn't take it too serious. They were just kind of like, I'm paying all this money, I'm just going to be handed a degree on a gold platter and be able to get everything in life that I want, basically. And then the other half of us was like, we're here to take this serious. This is something we really want to make a career out of, something that, we want to pursue. So I was glad to be in that half, but, I would say even now, like, there's a good, like, half the people I graduated with aren't doing a thing with film these days. They're still working at a fast food joint. No offense to anyone who works at fast food joints, but, just
right,
something that's not even related, to their
yeah,
degree at all. Or other people, they decided to go to school for a whole different other degree on top of that. I'm like, you put yourself in all that debt, and that wasn't something you truly wanted to do. Like, you should have known from the rip, like, that was something that you wanted to pursue. So it was really interesting to see that. But the school itself was really demanding, really pretty hardcore, if I had to say. I mean, most days you're going to class for like 8-10 hours a day, and they really wanted to kind of imitate the real world, what you would experience when you get out there, kind of the demanding challenges of the real world. But
a lot of homework?
Not so much homework. It's more like we'd have a lot of labs and stuff. So in the labs, we do everything from like filming documentary projects to directing projects to building film sets and stuff. So it really gave you kind of an A to Z, everything in the filmmaking world that you need to know, from audio to video to editing to, you name it. So what was great about it is you could really find out what you really wanted to pursue kind of when you got out of school. And kind of going through it, it is more kind of geared towards people that want to kind of end up like in Hollywood or like Atlanta or a lot of these places that have like really big movie productions and stuff. Mm-hmm. But kind of all through it, I kind of knew I kind of wanted to hang more on like the corporate end of things, not so much the Hollywood type of thing. And but yeah, it definitely gave me a really good foundation to be able to, get to that next step, get to that next level. So it was really sweet, especially living down in Florida, beautiful year round. Didn't even feel like Christmas when it was Christmas down there. It had like an Olympic-sized swimming pool at my apartment complex. That shit was sweet.
Basically, he's saying it sucks to be back. That's what he's saying.
I mean, when I got
my cousin says the same thing. He lived in Florida for 2 years. And he says it all the time. Like, it's cool that his friends and family are here, but they fucking don't want to be here either.
Yeah, when I had the whole opportunity to move back, I was like, do I really want to throw everything away down here? But like the overall, the video market down there is really just oversaturated. They've got like 3 film schools in like a 50-mile radius, and most people are still willing to work for like a slice of pizza down there, basically. So I mean, it was just like really difficult to even try to find a job.
You ain't working for no
there.
Slice of pizza. I know
Man,
that.
I mean, I would back in the day, but
shit.
Now after all the time and money and everything I put into it,
it was a double cheeseburger to be technical.
Double cheese
from Wendy's.
Yep,
this dude is a fast food lover, dude. This man gets whenever they come out with like the new premium sandwich on the commercial. Ask him what it's like, because he probably fucking tried it.
I mean, sometimes.
You was the Baconator god.
Not so much the Baconator. I've always been more of the chicken sandwich. I always get down the chicken sandwich. I haven't had the new KFC one yet, though. I haven't had the KFC one. I need to get down.
I've watched you smash burgers from Wendy's, dude. I remember.
Man.
Anyways, so what do you think was the thing that you got most out of Full Sail, other than obviously the degree?
It was really the networking opportunities. And, I met a lot of really cool people, whether it was my classmates or my instructors or even like kind of people that my instructors knew. They always had a lot of like guest people come to campus and give like guest lectures of people that used to be students there before. Now they're out in the real world really doing it. So it was really cool to kind of take little nuggets away from their presentations and say, hey, this is, I can do it. I could be successful like that too. So it was just really cool. The networking aspect of it, I'm still friends with like a whole bunch of people I went to school with there. We stay in touch regularly, even when I'm traveling. If I end up in some city, usually someone's there that's like, hey, remember, it's been a while since I've seen you. Let's kick it. So it's always good to catch up with people all over the place. And then the instructors too. The instructors really, found those kids that were really wanting to go to that next level and was really trying to enable them to do whatever they could to get to that next level. So what I did was I volunteered for this organization on campus called Spark. And what Spark allowed me to do was work with like the WWE and stuff. So basically, Full Sail's got this really good relationship with the WWE NXT, which is kind of their up and coming wrestlers. Kind of how you have the minor leagues in baseball and stuff. The NXT is kind of like the minor leagues in like the wrestling, basically. So it was all really just coming to the scene actually when I was down there. I think within like the first couple months of me starting was like the first show on campus and everything. And I was like, this would be really cool to help out with and volunteer on and just kind of do whatever I could do to get involved with this. So they would constantly kind of reach out to the campus and say, hey, if any kids are interested in volunteering, come on in, come work, help set up, help tear down. And then eventually, so I did a couple of those, just kind of help with the general setup and the teardown and whatnot of the shows. And then this one teacher, Jackie Gardner, she kind of saw that I really was taking heart into it, and she helped me get into this organization called Spark. And Spark worked on a lot of like nonprofit work and stuff for the Orlando community and whatnot. But they also were like the primitive group to like anytime WWE came to campus, like the Spark kids would be like the first go-to for anything that they needed. So nice. From there I got to actually get up into like the control room during these NXT events and stuff, and got to see like how like the video operators and stuff are over there directing cameras and see how like the audio is being switched real time, live and stuff. So I got to really take a part of these more advanced activities and stuff within that. So it was really cool, and I was like, this is really sweet. It's more of like the corporate world, more of like TV stuff that I'd be interested in getting into. So basically from there, I just kind of ran with it. Anytime they would come in, I would always be there volunteering, putting in my time. And then above and beyond that, Spark was working with, like I said, a lot of other nonprofits in the community. So I think we did a couple projects for like the local Red Cross, the City of Winter Park Mayor's office. They would put out like some video projects and have us like go and like film and edit them for them and whatnot. So it was just really good to like really build up my portfolio and my resume before I even graduated. And that was really my goal. Like I feel like a lot of my classmates, they would just kind of do the classwork, and that's good for your resume and your portfolio. The classwork is fine. Right, but to really show you went above and beyond, that's what an employer looks for is that above and beyond ambition and the initiative to do that. So
100%.
So yeah, it really just paid off there, and things really got rolling with me once I started doing that.
So what was the, because I got to ask, people are going to want to know, like what was it like filming, WWE? What was that like?
It was sweet, man.
I'm sure you got to meet some celebrities. And
yeah, like Triple H, he's kind of like the head of like that whole division. So he would be at every show. And like I never really met him personally, but he was always within like 15, 20 feet from me. And just like being in like a room with that and just kind of seeing how he operates and how he ticks and everything. I mean,
it's a big motherfucker.
It was just, he's a big,
I seen him
he's
in
a
person.
big guy.
His head, I swear to God, was like half the size of a billboard.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy how fucking big his head is.
So it's like I'm scared to even talk to someone like that. I'm like, you say one wrong word, it's just like, oh, please don't destroy me. But yeah, it was really sweet. So so basically, well, I don't know. I was gonna say I could fast forward into like my internship with them and everything, but I don't know if we're really to that point in the story yet. So
Judge, I'm just wondering like what type of what was it like when you were.
It was just,
because I know you were actually
I was just
doing
in
some
awe.
filming.
Growing up with it and everything, I was always a huge wrestling fan, just like most people, my age, I feel like. And then I did kind of, lose interest as you're getting like your teenage years and stuff. Right. But then just kind of getting reabsorbed into all that. I mean, it really just kind of.
Well, people do stuff like, get into pussy and, stuff like that. Other cool things.
There's always that.
Get your interest.
But it was really cool. I mean, it really almost like took me back to childhood good because it was like a lot of these same people that I saw on TV and were kind of my heroes growing up. It's like now I'm in the same room with them, and it was just like,
oh yeah,
there's really nothing even more inspirational than that. I feel like unless you're actually in that position to see someone who was kind of like your childhood hero and everything, and then be in that room with them. I mean, I constantly was just kind of speechless at a lot of these events, just always getting chills and stuff, and just kind of.
We were all fucking speechless seeing that shit on fucking every time you post that shit on Facebook. I'd be like, damn, man. This dude ain't even gonna talk to me in like a year. I swear to God, I was sitting there like, man, this motherfucker's about to be making the big bucks.
Oh man!
So then eventually, you got your internship with them.
Yeah.
Well, how did that work? Like,
so before that, basically, before the internship with them, I did the Vans Warped Tour. So. It was right after graduation. They were looking for a couple full sailors that had already graduated to like go out on the road with the Vans Warped Tour, do like video blogs, interviews with the bands, stuff of that nature. And they kind of let me know like last minute as heck. Like they had already interviewed like 10 other people. They're like,
he just said heck.
Last minute as heck. I'm trying to keep it relatively PG. Anyway, they were like, period. They're like, we already interviewed like 10 people, and we don't really feel really overly confident in a lot of them. And we know that you've done a lot of music video type stuff in the past. You've worked a lot of like live events and stuff. So we feel like you'd be an ideal candidate. Would you be interested in applying? I was like, well, yeah, I'm interested in applying. Like Vans Warped Tour. I mean, I used to go to that like every single year on the come up, I mean, and seeing all those bands and everything. I mean, those again were like all inspirations and like, relatable to their music of what you're going through in life and everything. I mean, that was huge. So they said, okay, well, you literally have until noon tomorrow to get your application in. And for your application, we need a 500-word essay about why you're the best person. We need a whole demo reel. We need a 2-minute introduction video. We need, there was 3 other things they needed, literally in under 24 hours. And I was like, holy shit, I don't have any of this right now. Like, are you kidding me? Then they're just like, well, just do the best you can. So literally I pulled an all-nighter, and between the WWE and my latest class projects and the music videos I'd done and everything, I got a demo reel put together. I put together my introduction essay. I put together my intro video. I got everything in literally about a half an hour before the deadline the next day. And I was like, all right. I even said in my intro video, I'm like, I literally just did an all-nighter. I was like, I'm looking so forward to this opportunity. This is literally the job of my dreams. Please choose me. And so I submitted it all, and I was like, let's see what happens. So,
and they chose you.
About a week later, they reached out. We did a Google Hangout. I met some other execs for the tour and stuff, and they did an interview through that. And they said, you seem like the ideal candidate. We're going to roll with you. And literally the next week was the official kickoff show in LA for the tour that year. And they're like, we're going to fly you in, and you're going to hit the ground running. Let's go. And I was like, all right. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, yeah. That's dope, man.
So, yeah, it was crazy, man. They put me up on the flight. Boom, here I am in L.A. And, yeah, man. So the kickoff show, they had 6 bands there. And I was I had all access pass. It was, shit, I don't even remember who all the bands were now, to be honest, actually. It was some Japanese band. And then like 3 or 4 just screamo alternative rock, that type of, yeah, basically. But yeah, so they gave me all access pass. I'm interviewing the bands in the dress rooms and stuff, and just getting able to be up on the stage, get the footage and everything. And then I put together a little recap video for that, and then the actual tour I think began about a month and a half later or so. So the tour was just crazy, man. I mean, got to live on a tour bus. It was 42 cities in 52 days, and we literally I think we started in Texas, and it was hotter than all hell, and we just kind of worked our way west and up the coast and back into the Midwest and over to the East Coast.
Are there any states that you haven't been to?
I think we hit literally every state with that. There might have been one that we didn't go to. I actually was trying to figure it out the one day. I think one of the Dakotas. I don't think we had a show in the Dakotas. But I think almost every other state had a show. So, but it would basically be, you fall asleep on the bus, you got your own bunk bed, and then, you're driving sometimes 10, 12, 14 hours in a night. You wake up the next day, you're in some new city, some new venue. You just have to kind of learn everything on the fly where everything's at and then just go. And they kind of left it all up to me to kind of what I wanted to produce, what I kind of wanted to grab and everything. They gave me a little advice here and there, but it was just kind of like full reign of like whatever you want to kind of do with it, do with it. So it was just really cool to kind of learn about the bands, see a lot of like childhood bands. Like they had like what was it? We the Kings, which was like a big band I was into in like high school. And then they had Anberlin. Anberlin's always been a huge favorite of mine, and they were on the tour, and it was actually, I think, leading up to like one of their last shows because they were gonna like stop as a band for a little bit, but now they're back together. But it was just so cool to like see again all these bands and everything that I knew growing up and everything there every single day, giving it their all, being able to interview them, being able to like eat dinner with these people, and like it was just a once in a lifetime experience. But a lot of people think like the glitz and the glam. They think, being able to ride around a tour bus and like explore the world and everything. A lot of people would be like, that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. But like literally after it was all said and done, I was so happy to be home because it's just
tiresome.
You go sometimes 3-4 days without even finding a venue with like a decent shower, or if they have a shower, they only have like 2 showers. So you're giving yourself like baby wipe showers and stuff. The sun and the heat and everything else was just so exhaustive. Plus, just hiking around the venue all over the place day after day after day, up hauling the camera equipment, and then like late night editing sessions on the bus to get the video done by like the next day and everything. I mean, it was truly grueling and exhausting. But it also was like one of the biggest learning experiences I feel like ever. So
Warped Tour, I thought that was after for some reason. That's why I didn't get to that. So then you got your internship.
Yeah.
WWE.
So basically, right.
Hold on, real quick, just so people understand. Like, you got your first camera, the serious camera, from
when I was like 17 or 18,
17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And then you go to college.
Yeah. Between college and Full Sail, it was probably about 4 years or so between like I was done with high school, did a couple of little things in college, did like the Michigan thing, everything else, about 4 years, and then finally Full Sail came, and that's really when it really started taking off for me.
So at what point in time through this, because I'm sure, was it Warped Tour when you were finally like, this is what I fucking do? Because, I mean, you've been doing it for years, but I'm talking about get to the point where you're like, really do, like, when was the first time you're like, I'm really doing some shit right now?
I think really like when I actually decided to take the jump and enroll into Full Sail, I feel like, okay, like with how expensive it was and having to move, I had never been out of Toledo my whole life at that point. I was like, I'm literally just going to throw away all friends, family, everything for a couple years and like move down there and give it my all. I said, this better be something that I'm going to take serious and something that I'm going to give it my all, or else this is just going to be a big waste of time, money, energy, everything, and especially my mom. My mom, like I said, she's always been my biggest cheerleader, and she kind of knew too, she said, make sure this is something you really want to do. And I think that was like my biggest worry too, was like letting my mom down, because if I let her down, I mean that's the end of the world.
Trash.
Right there. Trash. Period.
Trash. We had to take you out back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put him down.
Old Yeller
style. Old Yeller style.
But yeah, so yeah, as soon as I hit Full Sail, like it really, I'd say almost like my first week of classes there, it really was like just an eye-opening awakening. Like, okay, like this is getting serious. This is getting real. Like it's about to happen.
So the WWE internship is after you graduated?
Yeah. So after the Warped Tour.
So technically, what is your degree? What is it?
So my degree is a bachelor's of filmmaking. Yeah, bachelor's of science degree in filmmaking is my degree. So, yeah.
Dope. Okay, so tell us about the internship for the WWE.
Right. So I got back from the Warped Tour, literally like barely even had my bag unpacked, and like the same teacher, that Jackie Gardner woman who like had me in the Spark, had me with the WWE, everything. She hit me up and she was like, all right, the NXT now is looking for a videographer for their local training facility, just to do like little promos for the wrestlers and stuff that'll air like during the shows and stuff. And it's an unpaid internship, but it could turn into a paid position. Would you be interested? And I was like, well, I ain't really got shit else going on, so I might as well check it out, see what's going on. So I got into that, and that was about a 3 or 4 month internship total, and it was kind of going to their training facility almost every day. I got to see like the wrestlers, you know, how they train, how they kind of develop their characters and stuff. They had like this little like audio booth where they would go in and just like talk shit to camera for like hours on end. And then they would like air those at like specific sessions throughout the week and get feedback from other wrestlers about like, here's what you're doing right, here's what you need some work on. And like they kind of all together really kind of help build each other up, which is really interesting because, you know, when you see wrestling, it's all about like, I'm going to kick your ass and you watch out, you know.
You know, that's I just had, they haven't seen it yet, but I just had Trey on here. Yeah. And he's on Impact. And that's basically what he was telling me all about. Like, seems like it's a real big collective effort.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody wants to see
even though you're solo product, or even if you're in a group like he is, the Rascals, you know, it's a lot of people contributing, trainers, showing you moves, showing you how to, you know, just taking you under their wing.
Yeah, and everybody wants to see everyone successful, you know. So I mean, it really is almost like one big family essentially. And I mean, it's really up to the executives of WWE that, you know, are deciding, oh, you're gonna be the champion, or you're gonna be, you know, this person or that person. But really, when it comes all the way down to the end of it all, it really everybody's helping build one another, and everybody really wants to see each other succeed. So it really was a beautiful thing. Show. Yeah, all on the same show, all part of the same production, and that was really the big thing at the end of it all too. Like you just wanted to sell it. You know, you got to sell that production. You got to make it look as real as possible, and have everybody just get mind blown as much as possible. So it was just really cool to see that type of camaraderie. So
what exactly were you doing in the internship? Like,
so it was anytime, like sometimes they would say we want like a wrestler highlight video for WWE.com or something. So they would give me a camera. We would like do some interviews for like some of the upcoming wrestlers and stuff that would air on like WWE.com. And then sometimes we would do like these little promo videos where like I said, when the wrestlers are like talking crap in between like segments and stuff, like I'm gonna come and get you. Like we would film some of that, and that would actually air during like the NXT shows and stuff, like in between fights and whatnot. So it was really cool to like have like this really major hand in producing these projects and being able to see them air on like WWE.com, onto the WWE network and stuff. And it was just like so awesome to be a part of that. And actually, rewind a little bit, before I did the Vans Warped Tour, I did through Spark, and when I was helping them with WWE back then, I actually got to go to WrestleMania 30, and that was in New Orleans, and they put me up in like the same hotel with all the wrestlers, and like I'm here sharing the freaking elevator with like some of the greats. I got to go to catering, and like Stone Cold's like the next table over, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, that
would be fucking insane, son.
Dude, it was nuts.
It'd be hard for me to like not.
Oh, dude.
Somebody like Stone Cold or something, it'd be hard. Like, cause I've been around a lot of celebrities, but certain people, man, it would fuck with me. Like, when I met,
it was hard.
When I had the opportunity to meet Royce the 5'9", I think that was the first person I ever in my life where I was just like, I'm standing next to him, and I'm like, I like was like, oh my God,
right?
He's right here,
right? That's
like, well, that's how I was when I met 50 Cent too. I was like, because I'm not that much bigger than him, and I was like, you know, I'm thinking, you know, Get Rich or Die Trying album cover, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm looking at him, not knocking him, but I'm just saying, like, I figured he'd be taller, or bigger. We're like the same height, and obviously he's bigger than me. Yeah, but I'm just like. But it was hard for me to like get normal lines out and like just be casual about it, because I'm just like, this motherfucker, oh my God, I couldn't imagine.
That's kind of how this situation was. I mean, you know, it was just a one night. Well, we were there for like the whole week leading up to it, because the NXT actually had like this whole like ring and like performance and everything at the I forget what it's called, a fan access, I think it's called. And like, so a few days leading up to WrestleMania, the fans like pack the convention center and can see like fights. They can get autographs from the wrestlers, stuff like that. So I was helping film like video recaps for that. And then, it all culminated into actually being able to attend WrestleMania 30. had an all access pass. You know, like I said, got to go to the catering. The catering, they have literally any single thing you can think of that you can possibly eat, they had there to eat. I mean, it was literally everything. I mean, they had like a cereal station, a waffle station. Here's your filet mignon. Here's your chicken over here. Here's your
multi-millionaires.
Yeah. And then one memory I remember too is Vince McMahon was driving a golf cart in the back of the arena, and The Rock was hanging off of the back of it and was just like waving to everybody like, "Hey!" And I was just like, "Oh my God, it's The Rock! It's The Rock!"
Oh yeah, that'd be dope as fuck.
So yeah, so we got to see all that kind of before the show, and then we got to actually go out in the arena, and we had like just off the floor seats already reserved for us. And I had a little Canon DSLR with me with like a super good zoom lens, and I was able to snap a lot of photos. I have them up on my Facebook and an album there, but it was just so freaking cool to see all that and to just see that massive production. And you know, we got to like tour their satellite trucks and stuff and really see. I mean, they don't just have one video director there; they've got like 4 or 5 of them like working in tandem with like just dozens and dozens and dozens of cameras, you know, and it's just like just ridiculous to see that type of production. So yeah, that was badass.
So just a recap. So got your first camera, 17, 18.
Yep.
Went to college, did another course up in Michigan.
Yep.
Got to do Warped Tour, got to work with WWE, and then we get to a point where, okay, now you got to get a job with this shit.
Yep. So the internship was ending with WWE, and they said, unfortunately, you know, we don't have a job for you right now.
They were like,
yep.
Do you think it was that you weren't good enough, or they just...
No, what it was, they actually had just launched a WWE Network, which is like brand new. You know, it's like their Netflix, basically, of like WWE
they got their
shows.
own channel,
yeah. So they had just recently launched that, and I think their subscriber numbers weren't quite as high as they had originally intended. So they actually laid off like 100 people company-wide. And it was like at the same time my internship was ending. So I feel like if the network would have been a success and like they would have still had like the position and everything open, I probably would have went right into like working with them full time. But it was just kind of an unfortunate event, you know, how it lined up. So, but sure. It finally came to that point where, all right, internship's over with. You know, I still don't really have a job.
Party's over, son.
Party's over. What the hell's next? What's going on? So I just made like a Facebook post, and I kind of was like, you know, I'm looking for like a corporate type gig, maybe around like Chicago or something. Let me know if anybody knows anything, you know, hit me up. And almost instantly, a buddy of mine named Austin Taylor, I went to high school with him. He was like a year ahead of me, but we both were in computer networking together. So that's how we kind of met each other. He said, hey, I work for this marketing company called Coact Associates, and I'm a web developer, and we're looking for a videographer, full-time videographer to come in. We have a guy doing it right now. He just kind of does it part-time, but he's mostly sales guy. He does it part-time, and our clients are really enjoying this video work, and we're looking to hire in someone full-time. So would you be down to, you know, put in a resume, and I'll put in a good word for you, and we'll see what happens. So it like linked up at the perfect time because I was already going to fly home for a couple weeks anyway because it was like getting close to Christmas, and I was going to come back, see the family, see some friends, kick it. And I was like, all right, I'm already going to come home anyway, so I'll come in for an interview, see what happens. So walked in there for the interview, got interviewed by a couple people in there, and they said, we'll let you know by end of the week. I thought it went really good, was really confident in it. And they let me know at the end of the week. They said, we want to give you the job offer. We like you. So nice. I literally bumped my flight up to like that next day. I flew back down there, packed up my entire apartment, and then drove back up like the following Monday, and then began like the next week. So.
And you've been working there for how long now?
I just had my 5-year anniversary. So. Yeah.
So the reason why I wanted to go through all that is because this dude fucking, and forgive me if I'm being a dick about it, but I'm just being honest. This dude fucking, you didn't know him from shit. Just a guy with a fucking camera. So now he has a fucking career off of it and has got so many fucking stories. I mean, he probably could talk for fucking hours, but I don't want to hear all of it. I just want to hear some of it. Right. And hard work honestly paid off for this man. Because I remember when you fucking were sick of working at Best Buy and check to check and, you know, just not being able to get some of the gear you want. I remember you used to have to rent a lot of it. And now you fucking one-man fucking army with the camera shit now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a night and day difference compared to where I was way back to like where I am now, and like, you know, where I'm heading basically. It's just like, wow. It's even just kind of thinking about it all and like how it all kind of transpired. It's still just kind of like mind blowing to me. Like, damn, I guess it did kind of start like that. And now here I am now. And it's just like, wow, you know, just in just like 10, 12 years, how it all just kind of rocketed. So
It's awesome. You stuck to what you wanted to do. So if you stick to what you do, you're going to go through some wild shit. Like he said, a lot of that shit was fucking crazy. Like the tour bus and things that you think are going to be ideal. And they're not, you know, they're not always what you think they'd be. But you shuff through it and look where it got you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you have accolades. I mean, not to mention, aside from work, tell these motherfuckers all these places that you've been outside of camera work. I mean, this motherfucker's passport is insane.
Yeah. So I do get to travel a lot, you know, for work, but even outside of work, you know, I like to vacation quite a bit here and there, take my girl some places and stuff. So, I mean, just in the last year, we went to Hawaii, went to New Zealand. My mom and I, we went on a trip to South America, checked out Easter Island. You name it, crisscrossing the U.S. all over the place, always doing something for work. I feel like for work, I'm traveling at least like once or twice a month, and we got clients, you know, all over the U.S. and stuff. So
You were out in the UK for a while?
I was in the UK, yeah, not this past year, but yeah, a couple years ago over in the UK a few times. I went to actually a couple filmmaking classes over there and got to learn from some YouTube, you know, stars that I kind of grew up watching, like Philip Bloom and some of his people and everything, to kind of see how they do their projects.
By the way, earlier you told me that's his favorite person in the world.
That is one of my favorite people in the world, Philip Bloom. What up, though?
That's dope. So, for the people that, you know, maybe older or didn't get that same opportunity, but want to pursue a camera career, a career in doing video or maybe photography and something behind the camera, what's the best piece of advice you could give to them if they can't afford to go to a school like that?
Well, I mean, these days, you know, with YouTube and everything, you can learn pretty much anything you ever want to learn. I mean, even outside of YouTube, they got like websites like lynda.com and I forget, there's a couple other, like Udemy, I think it's called. So you can, on really either for free or for very nominal fee, I mean, you can take, you know, a crash course in photography, a crash course in video. You can subscribe to these YouTube channels where these people are always putting out like just like so much content, so much information that even a school, I feel like, can't even provide you. You know, you just kind of have to have the self-discipline to figure out, okay, this is what I really want to learn, and then just kind of sit down, do it, and stick with it. And I really think anybody at any age could, you know, really just take a camera and or anything else that you want, even if it's not like video or photo career related, you know, decide that that's what you want to do, and then just figure out, you know, kind of the lowest cost solution to start pursuing that. But I do definitely think that the college route was really worth it. You know, especially between grants and scholarships and everything else, I wouldn't count college completely out. You know, I think it's great for that networking opportunity. It's great to, like I said, if it wasn't for like that one teacher that I impressed, I mean, who even knows like what would have ended up after Full Sail and everything, but she just saw that I had that spark and she saw that I had that motivation, and she really wanted to be, you know, my cheerleader and really push me to like where I wanted to be. And without school, I wouldn't have really had that at all. And, you know, who knows how I would have had to kind of, you know, navigate it on my own, but I'm sure I could have done it. You know, I've always had the will and the ambition to do it. But school definitely helped out a bit. So.
Oh yeah. So, funny shit that I want to share with y'all. So, if you follow me, you know I got cystic fibrosis and shit. This guy is one of very few people who always comes and visits me every time I get sick, bring me something to eat or just come in and check on me. So, this was back in, what was this, March? May? When was this? May. Was it May?
I think so. I think it was May, yeah.
May or April, somewhere springtime before the summer started. I wanted to bring this show back and just have a camera for my own, you know, doing shit like this. This is my equipment. And I was just getting some advice from him and another guy who did videos for me who's amazing, Steve Staffen.
Shout out Steve.
I was asking them a lot of advice, on what camera to buy, and I couldn't just make my mind up, and I didn't want to buy something that was too cheap, but, I'm a rapper, so my credit sucks, and I'm a broke rapper, excuse me, so not everyone's credit sucks, but yeah, so jokingly, I said to this guy, I says, you should just get the camera for me, bro, and I'll pay you for it. And he's like, nah, man. And so I'm sitting up in the hospital, and this little sweetheart here comes and brings me a whole fucking brand new camera kit. Fucking $700 plus worth of shit. And it should have cost more because fucking he looked and found a fucking deal. And that meant more to me than fucking... I'm trying not to get all sad about it, but that's like one of the nicest things. He didn't buy it for me, but I had to pay him for it, obviously. But he did it because he knows that I'm a man of my word. And I said it jokingly when I said it because I didn't think anybody would, do anything like that for me. But I don't know. You did it. For whatever reason, you did it. And that's why fucking... the show's back on. That's why I have a camera. That's why I'm doing photography and videos now. It's because of this dude. Because he fucking, helped me out. Loaned me an opportunity to have my own shit so I could afford it. And that's more than... you need friends like that in this world. I've wanted to kill this dude at least 1,000 times. Let me be clear. We're not going to go on the ins and outs why. Because we've worked together that much on various things, but I will say that is by far one of the nicest things anyone has ever did for me, and it's not just because of the obvious reasons. I didn't expect it, and when someone, as we get older, I don't hang out with this dude too much. We live completely different lifestyles, but he knows, if there's something he needs from me, he can call me. Vice versa. And as we get older, these are the type of people that you need to have around you, are the people that are pushing for something better in their life, because they're going to be the ones that motivate you to do better. And it just so happens that this guy is the one who got the ball rolling for me on something I didn't even expect. Like I said, I have friends that have never came and visited me in the hospital. I have family that don't even check on me. You know what I mean? You came through pretty much every fucking time you've been in town. And if you didn't come, you called me or you texted me, or that means a lot, dog. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. Because I know I talk a lot of shit, but in all seriousness, I'm very proud of you, because for a while, I just didn't want you to become stagnant from the ups and downs of the jobs, that you did with people here, and, just all that shit that you were just talking about, running you ragged. And I'm very proud of you for sticking with it. You got a career out of it, man.
For sure.
It would be ridiculous for you to go back to work at Best Buy now.
Right.
Now you're overqualified. You went from not qualified to overqualified.
Yeah.
And you work for it. You know what I mean? And that's dope.
Pretty much everything you just spoke on, it really goes back to, like I said at the very beginning, you've always really been kind of really one of the first people in Toledo where I was kind of just starting out in the whole video field, to really kind of embrace it and say, let me fuck with this guy and let's do some work and everything. And you've always...
I definitely pushed him in the water, that's for sure.
Definitely. And you've always just been about pushing me, but you've always been about your business too. Anytime we had a money thing or anytime we had to get right on anything, you always made sure everything was right in the end. And even when you worked at the comedy club, you got me involved doing some video work for them, and everything that you get into, you always have tried to have my back and kind of get me into whatever you're getting involved in, and that's love right there.
It's important
not many people show that.
Try to put money in people's pockets around you. You know what I mean? Because at least I think so. That's why I always support local, and I go to local meme. I try to go to franchises less as possible. I try to, there's a new
Screw the
store.
Krispy Kreme, man.
Yeah.
Y'all whack, dog.
I went, I fed into the hype and I went.
Oh, man.
I went and like I said, in that video, if y'all watch the video on my Facebook, go to mess with Holy Toledo Donuts because
Chris Ritter, that's my boy.
The apple fritter donut was good at Krispy Kreme, and the hot chocolate was good, but it wasn't worth the wait and it wasn't worth the hype. I'll tell you that. But that's a whole different story. So back to let's go back to the beginning a little bit because there were things that happened. Particularly,
hold on real quick. We're also on Facebook Live, and if anybody's tuned into Facebook Live, feel free to drop some questions in there, and we'll answer them there in a little bit. But shout outs Facebook Live.
Yeah. Period. That's so I don't have to keep saying it. Fuck my. As you can see, my voice is already fucked up. So, dealing with me, I know personally, you were ripped out of your element and put into a completely different element.
That's for damn sure.
Between fucking scandalous girls and half-naked girls and violence. And so how do you deal with that adversity? I guess the right way for me to ask it is like, how did those things affect you to make you realize exactly what you want to be? Because I know certain things you were so uncomfortable with, but I had you do it anyways because I knew you were going to learn something from it.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we did the photo shoot with all the girls.
Right.
He was all blushing. You should have seen him. This boy is beat red. I had all these girls in bikinis.
Buckeye babes, yeah.
I had them, they were in bikinis, and this dude, you would have thought you painted his face.
I said, what kind of shoot we got here? We got a porno or what? What's going on?
He was red as fuck, and they all thought it was hilarious because he just could not stop cheesing. This guy was like ear to ear, and unfortunately, some of my events turned into brawls more than I would even like to address. Yeah. But
again, it all goes back to you've always had my back from the very beginning, so. Some of these things I was kind of uncomfortable at first kind of doing and whatnot. And it might have been stuff I hadn't really experienced before, but you can never knock something until you try, I guess. I was like,
that's all I was waiting for. I was looking for.
I was like, let me see what this is about. And Mike's always had my back, and he always is looking out for my best interest. So I know he truly wouldn't try to get me involved in like anything like super over the top, scandalous or dangerous or anything. So
right.
And then back then too, it was a little bit too about I really just need the bread. I mean, I didn't really have anything in camera gear and like. Just making a little bit above minimum wage at Best Buy, and I was just like, I just really need the bread too. So if Mike's bringing it, I guess I'll help out, see what's up. So.
Yeah, because that other guy that we won't mention earlier, he dipped out like a fucking dickhead asshole and left this dude to do a lot of extra work. But yeah, so there's a lot of, basically the reason why I wanted to bring that up is he won't say it because he's a nice guy, but a lot of that stuff ended up being bullshit. It sucked. He fucking shit was ass, but you went through it. You learned from it, so now you know what you can and can't handle.
Yeah, but what was sweet, well, we were kind of sharing a company back then called Stallion Studios, and once all that bullshit happened, it really gave me the drive and the ambition to launch my own whole separate company. So I launched my own company called Vindicate Media. And I mean, that's been now an entity, fully LLC, everything, for pretty much the better part of like the last 10 years. And through that, I've been doing a lot of like wedding videos on the side. I've been doing a lot of still some music videos here and there, a lot more corporate work too, even outside of like, my normal 9 to 5. And, I feel like if I didn't have that experience, who knows what would have happened, where I would be, whether even if I would have even gone to school and stuff. Because, I mean, we kind of were doing our own thing. We had done that Michigan school thing, and things were kind of taking off for us locally. I mean, we were getting business. We were working with people, and things were all right. But I feel like without really having that eye-opening ordeal and saying, hey, it's time to really kind of take control and do things on your own for once, who knows what would have occurred.
When I say I took him into some uncomfortable places, boy, were they uncomfortable for him. Very uncomfortable. I wish we had sweet phones back then so I could add some pictures. Sometimes he's either scared or blushing or nervous.
All the above.
I just took him to some of the worst neighborhoods in the city, put him around a bunch of fun people, and yeah. But you did it all, and you tried it, and the point is, what'd you say? Don't knock it until you try it.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Because
I don't know if I would do it again, but
right. But now you know.
At least I had the experience,
right? But now know.
I got to meet a lot of cool people through you too. I mean, I'd say half my Facebook friends list is probably people I've met through Buckeye Battle League, just people at random shows, shoots, you name it. So I mean, you really have been able to connect me with a lot of Toledo, and I think a lot of people wouldn't even know who I was, if it wasn't for you and for you to take me under your wing and really push me. So
I worked for it though.
I did. I put the work in.
You didn't get it. You put the work in. I just gave you a couple opportunities. You helped me just as much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
As much as it did for you, it did for me as well.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, Andrew Z, what up, though?
That's how friendship's supposed to work. Doesn't look like anybody got any questions.
No questions? No questions?
I don't think anybody gives a fuck,
man. I told you no one's going to give a fuck,
maybe you was right, man. Maybe
I think you bought all those likes on that post, man.
Yeah, I did, man.
Yeah, I figured.
I'd send everybody a message like, dude, like this so I can get this dumbass dude on here. All right. Does anybody got any questions? He must have some big-ass wings. Big wings, dog. Big wings, dog. So if anybody's got any questions, because I'm getting ready to wrap him up. But let's get into some other stuff outside of the camera stuff, since we gave that about an hour. So, what are you listening to right now?
Listen to that new Eminem,
I'll go figure. The white boys listening to Eminem.
Gotta give love to the Eminem. But I haven't really listened to much else other than that, really. I mean, like in the last couple months, like what have you listened to? I usually just kind of throw on Spotify and I'm my favorite band ever is Linkin Park, and I'll still rock out to that any day of the week. And then, sometimes I'll just let the Spotify just kind of flow, whether it's off of like a Linkin Park playlist or something else, and, discover some new artists from there and just kind of rock out. But not anything really like too specific, I'd say.
So one thing that anybody knows about you is you're like a little news network.
Oh, God.
When it comes to
Whitey News Network.
Whitey News Network. First of all, how did you get the nickname Whitey? Because
oh man, yeah, we didn't even talk about my nickname. Shit.
Because some people hear that nickname and they're like, "What's that mean, white boy?"
All right. So the nickname Whitey, it actually was the 10th grade lunchroom, Whitmer High, and so like I said earlier, I was in computer networking class for almost all 4 years, and that would usually be like half the day every day. And all my classmates and I, we would all sit together at the same lunch table. And this one day, my one classmate, Zach, he was going on and on, rambling about something. And I interrupted him mid-sentence. I don't even know what happened or what I said or anything. But he literally just stopped everything, looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "Shut the fuck up, Whitey!" And the whole table just fucking burst out into laughs and tears and everything. And they're like, "Whitey!" And from that day forward, everyone in computer networking started calling me Whitey. And then next thing you know, teachers started calling me Whitey. And then when I got to graduation, they announced some people at a pep assembly that got some scholarship opportunities or whatever. I got $2,500 to University of Toledo or something, and they said Christian POKRYWKA, and only a few people clapped, and I'm like, I know way more people than these few people that clapped. And so I was kind of offended. I was like, what the hell? I was like, why did no one show me any love? That's some bullshit. So I got out on the bus later to go home, and some people were like, Whitey, why didn't you get any scholarships? We thought you were a genius. What happened? And I was like, I did. I got $2,500 at UT, Christian POKRYWKA. And this dude was like, oh, we thought your name was Whitey. And I was like, oh my God, you idiot. So literally from that day forward, everybody just kind of started calling me Whitey, and I just kind of embraced it and made it my brand essentially. And I think it's been great. Even through Full Sail, I had the Whitey hat and stuff, and my classmates, my teachers, everybody knew me as Whitey. And I don't know, I feel like it was a lot more just easier to recognize that versus Christian POKRYWKA. So.
Okay, so I'm giving y'all 60 seconds. If you have any questions,
come on, Facebook. Give me your best questions. What's up?
I have a question for you.
Oh, shoot.
What was your favorite thing that you worked on with me? Out of everything.
Favorite thing I worked on with you?
A specific
I'm gonna say
event or video or something specific.
I was always really proud about that "Pour My Heart Out" music video. I thought that was up to that point, some of the best work I had put out, and just like the scenes we captured with you, and like the emotion and the delivery and everything.
Filling the cup up and all that.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
So check out Mike Flamez' "Pour My Heart Out" music video. That's one of my first works ever. Really, it's out there on YouTube, and yeah, it was really just an awesome project to be a part of. I mean, outside of that, Buckeye Battle League was always pretty sweet. Like you said, sometimes some hairy situations, but it was always cool, meeting all the different battle rappers who, I'm still Facebook friends with, and commenting between, messaging, whatever, and, just getting to see their beefs and stuff was cool. And, yeah, we've always had some good times. And, yeah.
I remember when, which event was it? And I remember fucking, you had your because he always had his little team of guys helping him. And I remember the one time you were just like looking at me like, and sure enough, something popped off. And I was like, damn it. Yeah. Damn it. And it was all over from there. And it happened a couple times.
I'm always more concerned about the gear than I am about myself. I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck, no, my gear.
Right. This shit is expensive, son.
Yeah.
So, nobody's got any questions for you. Nobody cares.
I told you, nobody gives a damn.
Well, I care. So that's why I had you on here. And if there's any social media you want people to shout out your social media, people can follow you.
Yeah. So it's like,
ask you some questions, maybe.
It's basically Facebook.com/I'm Whitey, letter I, letter M, Whitey. Instagram.com/I'm Whitey. And then Vindicate Media, VINDICATE Media. You can find it on Facebook. I'm actually undergoing a brand revamp right now. Shout outs to Alex Dart. He's working with me on that. So some new logos, new website, all sorts of stuff that's going to be launching here soon. And just trying to get onward and upward with that. If any of you out there need a wedding video or know anybody is getting married soon, that's kind of my main focus right now. And then any sort of like corporate type work too. If you own a small business or anything, love to make a promo video for you, or whatever. Reach out, let's talk. Oh shit! It stopped automatically. Card is full.
Nice.
Damn. I guess it's just the audio then. Cue the logo and fade to black.